Good Friday morning. Y'all, we made it through the week. Now we're missing about half the crew. It's just us today.
It's too hot to be here.
It's too hot to be here. You know what I've noticed? Even the studio is slightly warmer.
Oh,
it's usually freezing.
Normally people complain, "Oh, it's so cold in here."
Yes, I haven't complained.
Outside temperatures going up steadily. In fact, as we get into the weekend, we get into the dangerous situation with the heat index temperatures way up there, anywhere from about 100, 105. Heat index, that's the primary reason we're going to be talking about this. What's called a heat dome in the upper atmosphere. I mean, high pressure is sinking air, and this, when it's a heat dome, it's several days, even sometimes weeks of air that expands, it bulges out and covers a great deal of the nation. Even in the southwest, Phoenix, Arizona is going to have a high temperature of 117 today.
Oh, that's my goodness.
That's not heat index, that's the actual air temperature. This weekend, how it's going to feel here in our area, heat indices, the actual, how it feels outside, 100 to 104 degrees. So really, it's a dangerous situation if you're outdoors this weekend. Temperatures way above average from Saturday, tomorrow, all the way to the middle of next week. Couple days there, Monday and Wednesday, where the temperatures are up almost 10 degrees above average. That's a pretty dangerous situation. Here's the actual high temperatures as we go through the weekend into next week. I'll say, for the most part, mid to upper 90s. Those little bitty temperatures Thursday and Friday, that's still above average.
A little bit. Right.
It's like, what's going on over there? But yes, definitely for the weekend, a time to stay inside as we have a high heat risk all the way across the Charlotte metro area right into the middle of next week. It's been a while. It's certainly been a while since we've seen anything like this. So we're talking about excessive heat risk Sunday and Monday particularly. But I would really say through the weekend all the way into next week, if you have to be outside, make sure you're hydrated. And you think about there may be people in your neighborhood, elderly people that don't have air conditioning.
Right.
Make sure you check on them. Make sure the pets have a cool spot and some cool water, something we need to think about. And then here we go. The heat index temperatures, how it feels outside. Gosh, 103 on Sunday, Monday 104. Really impressive.
And that's flirting with heat advisory criteria.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't issue that. National Weather Service doesn't do that this week.
And sometimes they'll only do Mecklenburg County because we have what's called the urban heat islands. So just where you have a lot of pavement and everything like that, it doesn't cool off as much as, say, out in the more rural locations. And those maps that Larry was showing was an experimental heat map that they have now for the National Weather Service, and it has actually parts of Mecklenburg County under that extreme level just because it could be at that 105.
We could go back to that. Just want to point out once again that we don't normally see this where you have about 4 days with the heat index over 100 degrees. That's exceptionally hot. Let's talk about the Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Today in the low 90s, tomorrow mid-90s, and there you go. You see highlighted in red that those days of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, excessive heat. And those were really going to be dangerous. As far as rain chances, you get the little pop-ups here and there, Sunday and Monday, and I think better chance we could see some rain, which we definitely need. It's awful dry. It's really dry. For the month of June.
Yeah, it's not good because every Thursday the drought monitor comes out, and the most recent update hasn't been fantastic. So let's go back in the past, shall we? Over the last 2 months, April we had the yellow, which represents just abnormally dry conditions. Once you got to about this time in May, notice that pretty much all the Carolinas were free of any sort of drought because it rained a lot in May. May was in the top 10 for the wettest on record. But then notice what's happened over the last couple of weeks. It's flourished, where this is a significant increase. Now, North Carolina, 65% of the state under abnormally dry status. However, that's a 61% increase.
That's a lot.
Oh, wow.
That's too much. And we're in the midst of what's called a flash drought. So pretty much instead of a slow, gradual drought, since we've been so hot and so dry in such a quick time frame, all the rain that we saw in May doesn't matter because it's also this time of the year that all those plants that are growing are using up a lot of the moisture in the soil. So it's better off that it actually takes a lot more rain for us to get back to normal. So I want to show you one of these maps that came out. Oh, I forgot this graphic comes next. Never mind. Well, we had over 23 inches of rain so far this year, close to 3 inches above normal. And then, as I mentioned, May had over 7 inches. So that's why this is so crazy. But June has only had an inch of rain. In June, since it is so much warmer, we do need a little bit more rain. So that 1.6 inch difference compared to the normal. And now if you add today's rain that we need, it'd be close to 1.8 2.8. But you need at least 3 to 4 inches to not only catch up what we missed, but also make up for what is upcoming. So that's really over the next month. We would need at least 3 to 4 inches, but realistically, it's 5, 6, but not all at once, because if it's all at once, it's going to run off. But Larry, you had already mentioned your rain chances. This was not the 10-day forecast a week ago. So at least we're seeing a better chance that maybe a thunderstorm could try to alleviate things. Before it was just dry and hot.
You know, quite often what does help us in these situations is those tropical systems. So if we get anything tropical to come closer to us, then we could get some much of the rain. But then
we're wishing for
you get too much at one time.
Yeah, so.
Like that.
Well, hopefully it'll just spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about, obviously, heat all morning long, especially during the show. And so we actually did pull ahead some tips that can help you guys maybe save some money and stay cool. So first, and this is going to sound really weird, but go ahead and close your blinds and then get some aluminum foil covered cardboard.
That's too much work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot, but you might save some little money. And so the way it helps, 76% of sunlight, it actually turns into heat. So that cardboard, the aluminum, shields your windows from letting the heat and the light
It just reflects off
to
your neighbor.
To your neighbor.
if you drive past that person, thinks the apocalypse is coming.
Stop it.
Strange looking house.
Hey, they're saving a couple dollars.
Aluminum foil on the window.
And then the second tip, and this is going to get a little bit in your business, but if you do have ice packs, we want to just make sure you know how to use them. The best places to cool off. Put the pack on your wrists, your elbows, your feet, your thighs, around your head and your neck as well. Then 3, this is a bit on the nose. I know I'm a little bit behind our graphics, but that's okay. Go ahead and avoid your appliances. So maybe don't cook on the stovetop or the oven. Leave the laundry for nighttime and then put your wash on cold. And then that's as far as the heat. Now we can talk about hitting the wallets. So that can be felt across the country. We talked about this specifically during the show. Millions of folks across the country have been under heat alerts. This has been all week. And of course, cooling off the home, it keeps getting more expensive. So Bank of America actually says that the average monthly utility payment went up 23% since 2019. And then an angle that a lot of folks don't think about, I mean, folks with outdoor jobs. So reports actually say 2.5 billion hours were lost in labor just due to the heat.
Wow.
And then, of course,
you think of people, roofers, oh my gosh.
Roofers, construction, agriculture. At some point, you can't be outside. And so it's a danger.
To be on roof, you have to wear full clothing and stuff like that, else you can get burned.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it's and we also talked about UV index before as well. It's usually the late morning to the early afternoon that has the highest UV index, but usually tip your hottest temperature later in the day. The only good thing that works out for us is those dew points typically come down a little bit during the afternoon, which does temper things. But still, we're splitting hairs here. It still feels like 100 degrees, and there's not a big difference from 100 to 103.
This is the truth. So get your fans, get your misters if you got them.
And your aluminum foil cardboard.
And your ice packs.
And your ice packs. So just get the list. But of course, guys, make sure you stay safe and try to stay cool through the weekend. We're going to see you right back here on Monday. Have a blessed day, guys.
See you then.